So, yeah, my journey, white kid, middle class, mom and dad, 4-year-old brother, or 4 years older than me brother. And, it's interesting because I don't actually remember a lot of my years and times before 7. So the story that I've rehearsed probably 1,000 times. And as I share it this time, sharing from a higher level of understanding of my path and journey, and so much more transcended from the pain and stepped further back than I ever have before. But I do feel that our individual lives speak to this higher archetypical story that our souls came to tell through our life experiences. And so that's the level at which I like to speak to the experiences that I've moved through in this life, because it's poetic. Our lives are poetic when we can see that.
Yeah.
So there was a big shift around 7 for me. And before I would often say that, like, things were normal, but now that I reflect deeper, I don't know if they've ever kind of been normal, because my mom, super like anxious being, a lot of pain in her past. And then my father, super closed down his heart and just his emotions and things like that. But at 7, my mom hurt her back. And it was very intense emotionally, because all of a sudden, as like a super sensitive being that I am, like noticing that drift, that like something shifted in my mother, that she like closed her heart even more. She was on pain pills. She couldn't do anything with us anymore. And so I fucking started throwing temper tantrums. I was like, fuck, screaming and crying. And like, what I can see now is that version of me was feeling the pain of the family and wanting everyone to be so closely linked together, but feeling the separation, feeling the pain, feeling the numbness, and like needing love, but not having it. It was like living in hell, really. Yeah. If you could imagine what hell's like, it was like that, just like so detached from love.
Yeah.
It's like I'd been yearning for love my entire life, and it just was never there. And so they didn't know how to deal with what I was going through. And they were like, there's something wrong with him. We got to take him to the doctor. And so they took me to these doctors that started telling me I got ADD, ADHD, ODD, whatever fucking label they can find.
Yeah.
They gave it to me. And they're like, we can't figure out what's wrong with him. Let's try all these pharmaceutical medications. So they started giving me these things like candy. And I remember in one of the sessions with this fucking guy saying, no, I don't want to take these pills. No. He's like, one of the side effects is that there's a chance that you can gain weight. And I was like, no, I don't want to take this medicine.
Yeah.
And they're like, you don't have a choice. The choice was on the parent. And so my no was invalidated completely. And how many times does that happen at children? It's kind of like fucked up.
Yeah.
It's like the sovereignty of the sacredness of the being that we are is just completely cast away.
Wow. How old were you?
I was 7 or 8. It was like right around that time. It was right when they started to prescribe me medicine. And then on occasion, when I would act out, they started to learn about this hospital that they could take me to. And so they used that as like a threat. If you keep acting out, we're going to take you to this hospital.
Well, that's big hell.
We're going to drop you off. And I was like, yeah. I thought they were joking, like playing around. And my dad kind of was. He was like that. He's a fucking guy. Bless his heart and soul. But he's a fuck. He's playing a very powerful role in my life to teach me a lot. But he would joke about it. And one day, like, man, I threw a temper tantrum, and I don't remember the exact event, but like caused a scene. And my mom's like, just wait until your father gets home. And I'm like 8, dude, you know, and I'm like scared as fuck. And like, they're coming to get me, and they're like, I wouldn't get in the car. So they were like, let's go to Blockbuster. You remember that shit?
Yeah, for sure.
It was a family trip to Blockbuster.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, dude.
No, they didn't.
Family trip. We never went anywhere as a family.
Whoa.
Yeah, bro.
Scary.
Scary as fuck. And they lied to me, and they took me to the hospital. And the
Wow.
thing is that my dad's driving around the parking lot. He's like, well, we don't know how to get in there, so you're lucky this time. And my smart ass was like, really? You can't find it? Oh, I was kind of excited. I made a joke. And he's like, okay.
Oh, wow.
Drove over to the fucking ER.
No, you didn't.
Took me right in the front door of the ER. And they're like, we need him to go to the hospital unit.
Yeah.
And yeah, it gets kind of intense here.
Yeah.
So this is one of those warnings on the warning, you know, close your eyes, open your heart, or shut off the video.
Yeah.
And so I go and
Hold.
wow.
Pause.
Look at that.
You've told me the high-level overviews of your story, but this one you've never told me.
Yeah, this is the
deep, unfiltered, raw.
Yeah.
Which is exactly why we're here.
Yeah, that's my essence, you know. I feel like that's
I didn't know we were going this deep, man.
I mean, neither.
Go for it.
I'm tired.
Perfect.
Yeah, so a bunch of nurses come out and they take me, and I'm 8, bro. You remember when you were 8?
Barely.
Yeah. Yeah, 8-year-old little boy. And they take me to the back, and I'm like scared, you know. I'm best friends with my mom, but she's also my worst enemy.
Yeah.
Because we're like fighting each other all the time, and she's the only one that kind of loves me on occasion.
Right.
Which is intense.
Tough.
So I'm trying to run away from them. I'm like, yo, I gotta hug my parents. Like, what the fuck? And they grab me by the arm and they inject a serum into my vein.
No, they didn't, bro.
Straight up.
Wow.
There's like 6 of them grabbing me, and I was tiny, bro. And they injected me, and I wake up in a straitjacket in the middle of the night on a table there.
You didn't.
Yeah, still in the ER, chained up. And I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And
I had to piss like a motherfucker. But anyways, they take me in, and they strip you down butt naked, and they kind of check you for marks and things. And then they put you in like, it's like a jail, but for kids. And they had it for teenagers and for youngsters. And I was there 4 times over like 4 years. And it's from like 4 days to a week. And they wake you up at 4 a.m. They take your blood. They give you prescription pills. You have to wait to see the doctor before you can even almost like let you out. And you go to school during the day. You got snack time. You got meals. But it was fucking...
in the hospital.
In the hospital.
So you did this 4 times.
I went there
like
4 times.
The week thing. Did you go?
I think one of the times was like 4 days, maybe 5 days, and then like a week twice or something.
But did you have to go back because your parents were like, you're throwing a tantrum again?
Yeah, it was moments where they just kept that hanging over my head as a threat. So I was constantly in this state of fear, trying to suppress my emotions that were so vast because it wasn't safe. I'd end up in the hospital, but also self-destructing on the inside.
Wow.
Because it was just so fucked up at home. Nobody understood me. Nobody saw me. They were telling me I was broken, shoving these pills down my throat, all this stuff, dude.
Incredible.
And it was like states of consciousness that I wouldn't wish upon anybody.
Yeah,
like imagine insanity, but like you're still a child. So you're trying to gain a semblance of reality.
Yeah.
But these chemicals come in and they're just altering it. And then your guardians of life are telling you that you're doing things wrong all the time, creating an unsafe environment where I'm trying to be loved, to be safe, and just not understanding what the world wanted, and feeling so much, and just being so misunderstood. And I feel that this reality in different ways and expressions is cast upon a lot of beings that came into a density a world of density like this, super sensitive and misunderstood by their guardians and the world. So it's not just my story. How many children didn't make it out of the hospitals? Somehow I've been super blessed by angels along the path. Like, honestly, I don't know how I'm still sane. Am I?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very real thing that was super scary as fuck. And I went to jail one time when I was 10 for a night, which is another terrifying story. And
that's scary.
Handcuffs and shackles.
Wow. Yeah, getting handcuffs not fun.
Not fun.
No.
Yeah. Surrounded by 18 to 25-year-olds. And they're like, what did you do to get in here?
You're like a legend.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know why I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one time, maybe that's not necessary to share.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went through these years, and this was till I was like 12, 13, 14, something like that, 14. And I gained a lot of weight because of the pills.
Yeah.
But somewhere around that, I stopped going to school for a while and got court ordered to go to school, but I stopped going to school. So it was like, my mom kept calling the cops on me, and
it's like insane.
It's a whole thing, bro. It's a whole thing. And then I got held back in 5th grade because I stopped going to school. So I had to repeat. But
5th grade.
Still stopped going after winter break.
Where were you going when you didn't go to school?
I'd stay home, play video games. It was one of the only things that saved my life.
Wow. So you just like said,
Played
I'm not
video
going
games.
to school, Mom. I'm going to play video games.
Yeah. And they would call the cops on me.
Wow.
Because it was illegal to not go to school.
Illegal?
It was illegal.
Damn.
It's just called truancy. But then the cop would come knock on the door, and then I'd just go back to sleep. And she called them so much, they were like, you can't call us anymore.
Oh, that's amazing. Wow.
So I just willpowered it, bro. I was just like, I'm not going. Fuck you. Can't make me. I just eat food all day and play video games.
Wow.
And so I actually remember I had to rapidly mature to communicate with the communities on these video games that were like 18 plus.
Right.
So I'd pretend to be 18.
Whoa.
So I was like, I had to like be mentally acute, like really early.
That was your school.
That was my schooling.
Incredible.
Yeah. Made friends.
What'd you play?
World of Warcraft.
Oh, that's the best.
Counter-Strike.
Oh, that's big school. Counter-Strike too.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was raiding.
I was really good at Counter-Strike.
Yeah, me too, bro.
I didn't play WoW though that much.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those games actually, they helped me
For
in
sure.
ways that I, yeah. And then like 14, the court came in, was like, yo, if you don't go to school, we're going to fucking send you back to juvie. I was like, all right. I changed schools. I was growing up in impoverished, like many people were impoverished. And I was a minority.
What does that mean? Impoverished?
Impoverished, like not a lot of money.
Got it. Okay.
In a lot of families.
Got it.
And I was the minority, bro. I was the minority. I was like the only white kid in a class of a bunch of ghetto people.
That's crazy.
And I was really good at like learning how to be liked, you know, how to fit into my environment. So
whoa, sweet.
So I activated this very powerful armor just to fit in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so then I switched schools when I got that court order, and I made this whole new group of friends. It was like super important.
Whoa.
So everything started to shift. I lost a lot of weight, made friends.
Wow.
It was like I was socializing finally again. And,
wow.
And so that year really helped to heal me. And that was right on the cusp of the market crashing, the housing market.
Oh, yeah.
So as soon as I like all of a sudden stopped taking meds, things started to harmonize. I started losing weight. Everything in my life was getting better.
Yeah.
And then I walk into my mom smoking crack.
Wow.
And it was like this next fucking
journey
opened. And it was like maybe 6 months or a year or something in between. I was like, wow, this is fucking Hard Knocks, School of Life.
Yeah.
So then it was a lot of journeying with that. And
wow, that's a good title.
Hard Knocks, School of Life. Yeah. And so it had its challenges. But yeah, so right around that time is when I entered high school. It was like the summer before high school. So I entered high school, and that's where I met like this incredible group of friends. Like just like got put into this international baccalaureate program with a lot of dope people, and
Wow.
my whole life changed, and was taking on more responsibility of just like raising myself.
Wow.
And a couple of years into that, my mom was like in and out. We moved into the ghetto. We lost our house at the same time as she relapsed, and that's kind of why that happened.
Wow.
So we moved into an apartment, and then we had to move into a smaller apartment in the ghetto. And as I was entering junior year, I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. It's like,
Wow, junior year, grade 7, grade 10.
this is high school.
Yeah,
So this
grade
is
10.
like 10, 11.
10, 11. Got it. Yeah.
I was like, I get the fuck out of here. This
Wow.
is dark, dude. I was like, yeah, it was just intense, intense energies at the house, all these things. And yeah, I made the decision to jump into the unknown and move into a place with my best friend at the time.
Whoa.
I wasn't sure if I'd be able to afford it. I didn't know how the money would come. I didn't know what would happen, but I knew I had to get out.
Yeah.
So it was one of the first times I remember really jumping into the unknown and trusting. And this is before any spirituality. This is survival.
Yeah.
Survival.
Root chakra.
Root chakra. And I moved into this apartment. It was one of the best years of my life.
Wow.
Yeah, I was dating this girl at the time, and her family kind of took me under their wing, and her mom became my
Wow.
mom, and she helped me to fucking love myself in a new way.
Wow.
Like deep soul love. Angels, dude. I went to Spain with them a few times.
What?
Like,
Damn, they was one of them.
yeah, dude, they changed my life.
One of those families.
Yeah.
Come to Spain with us, brother.
Yeah, dude. I love them so much to this day.
Blessed.
To this day, her
Blessed.
mom hits me up. She's like, you know how much of an honor it was to be your mama those years?
Oh my God.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful you allowed my love in. I was like, wow, I love you so much. Angels.
You should send this to her.
I will.
Cool.
Yeah, I love her so much.
Yeah.
Bless her heart. Bless their hearts, all of them. They're just amazing. And so the night I moved in, I remember there was like a whole thing, my ego was like, yeah, I moved into my own place, invited my parents, my brother, everyone over at the same time. And I was kind of feeling it, I'm like, yeah, it's my own place. I took a bong rip, dude.
Whoa.
Bro, I go into my room, I have a panic attack.
Whoa.
And my girlfriend at the time was there, like holding me. I wept like a baby, bro.
Wow.
Like a baby.
Bong rips,
Because the weight of what I just stepped into dawned upon me. It was like the weight of responsibility. And I'm like, can I do this? Am I enough?
Yeah.
And there was this fucking layer of fear that was just being purged.
Yeah.
And I wept, bro. And I was in so much fear. And she just held me and told me it was all going to be all good. And it was one of the best years of my life.
Wow.
So while I was there, my lifelong best friend, Doug, he was my other roommate. And this other guy, like one of our friends at the time, was also living in the space, but on the couch. And Doug's girlfriend gave me this book all of a sudden, bro. And this is before I had any spirituality, nothing.
Yeah.
And it was called The Power of Now.
Oh, I knew it.
Dude, and I started reading it and started meditating every day. And I would have these moments of Satori. Couldn't be anything else.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
And I was thinking about this the other day, actually. I remember these moments where I'm like reading the book, right, daily. Don't know what the fuck's happening, but I'm meditating. And then in meditation, things are clicking.
Yeah.
And then moments in life are clicking in my life. And then certain nights, like maybe I'd smoke a little bit of weed, which I didn't do much of, but I would smoke with myself. And all of a sudden, these new like awarenesses would drop into my field.
Yeah.
And I remember very clearly one day sitting in my chair and I noticed another thing inside of my consciousness that wasn't me. And I was like, I like watched it with my awareness. I'm like, and it knew I was watching it. It's like, what is that?
Wow. Yeah.
I was like, what is that? I was like, oh, wow. That's the not me. That's been guiding my life.
Wow.
Dude, and there was this other time where I remember dropping in a similar awareness, but it was like, all of a sudden I was like, wait a second, there's something here. This is infinitely familiar. What is that? What? And the way I described it at the time was like reaching a new level in a video game and you save the like teleport place.
Yeah.
And you can always teleport back to it.
Yeah.
And I was like, it feels like I'm activating new teleport locations. Like I've been here, but then I forget, but then I come back. And it was this profound realization.
Wow.
Because no one around me was having that.
Yeah, you were in it.
It was way early, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was like, what is happening to me?
Wow.
And so I had this incredible...
How old are you at this point?
I was 18.
Okay, so this is end of high school?
This is senior year of high school.
Yeah, okay, sweet, yeah.
And man, I meditated every day.
Wow, 18.
My whole life changed.
Damn.
My whole life changed. Like I was dropping into deep states of meditation that still today I think about.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow, that version of me is one of my greatest teachers.
Wow.
And I remember it got to a point where I was like, I had reached the end, you know, like the goal I set for myself was to graduate high school so I could get away from my family. And my only insight on how to do that would be to go to college. So I was like, I got to go to college, which means I got to pass high school. And so now I'm saving up money for college. I'm like, this is my only way out. It's my only way out. And, but I'm talking to my friends, I'm sitting at a table and we're all talking and I'm just like so centered deep in my soul. And I'm like, it wasn't resonating. I didn't want to talk. I just wanted to be in meditation and reading all day. And in one of my meditations, I was like, wow, this isn't my time to be this woke.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to go back to sleep.
Yeah.
It's too soon. And I went back to sleep. I went to college, partied my ass off. And fucking went down a couple notches on purpose. Crazy to think about, but I knew it wasn't time.
Yeah.
At least in that potential reality that it wasn't time for me to be that woke. Reflecting back, you know, there could have been some moves I made, but from the limited self of consciousness that I was embodying, that was the only pathway.
Yeah.
And how many times do we do that? So many humans.
Yeah.
This is the only way.
Right.
So 4 years in college, partied a lot. And then after was, it was time for me to come back to myself. But I had drank so much. It was like, I've stripped, if I had reached one of the maximum points of my soul in that year, I fucking strayed really far away during those 4 years. And so like coming back, it's been a journey ever since.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, bro.
I love the way you put that.
Yeah. And I mean, vast teachings throughout. But another one, you know, I got into plant medicines after college. Then I moved, accepted one of the top paying jobs available from my school, making $100,000 at Accenture, a technology consulting firm. Yeah. Right out of college, moved to San Francisco. I thought I could get as far away from Florida as possible and I'd be happy. Damn. I'm making all this money, but
coast to coast.
Dude, I was so sad. I dropped into a depression. I didn't resonate. There was one homie there that was like my homie, but everyone else didn't resonate. Terrible. Everything just felt broken and wrong. Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. I'm like pleading, like I'd fallen into drugs at this point, drugs and alcohol, anything to numb the pain, because I was so far away from my soul. Yeah. So I was doing all the things. And I just remember breaking down one day on my hands and knees, like, there's gotta be something else. This isn't it. Yeah. This isn't it. And, you know, it was a painful year and a half, but because the agony was so deep, it forced me into thinking there had to be another way. And so it led to a sequence of experiences where I had to, again, jump into the unknown. So I left. I was making all this money, but I left the company. And I just was like, my friend was like, yo, you want to move to Miami? Start a company? Funny enough, we actually attempted to start an ad agency. Yeah. And all I heard was, you want to move to Miami? All I needed was another pathway, just so I could feel like I was in motion towards something else that may be the right direction. And so I was like, fuck it. So I moved to Miami, and magic. This is where, man, I still wasn't spiritual at this point. I still didn't believe in God necessarily. I didn't believe in religious beliefs. I wouldn't even consider myself agnostic. It was like, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Really good point.
Yeah. No beliefs. Yeah. I was like, but I was jumping metaphorically off the cliff time and time again, and things just worked out. And so I moved to Miami, landed in this incredible apartment. And yeah, there was a lot of darkness that was happening around that time, stemming from unconsciousness and unconscious behaviors that led to a lot of hurt for me and others in my life. And it was a dark time because when I landed in Miami, I was still like addicted to drugs, really.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of MDMA, cocaine, alcohol, just hanging out with groups of people that were doing that. So I was like spiraling down. But this is the same time that I also found Aubrey Marcus and Fit for Service.
Wow.
And so as I landed in Miami, it was actually the first day of Fit for Service.
Wow.
Yeah. And so there's like a golden thread throughout the sheer darkness. Wow. And I would go to these meetups and meet these beings. I'm like, finally, I'm not alone. Finally,
wow.
There's other people like
Immediate
me.
resonance.
Yeah. Although I felt so isolated from everyone. And I didn't know it at the time, but I just had so many wounds. I'd built up all these protections, and many of them were like very emotionally mature.
Wow.
And like established beings in society already.
Yeah.
I was one of the youngest. So that was challenging, but I made some really good friends there. And then fast forward to, must have been October. No, the end of September 2019. I went to Sedona. It was like the third meetup, and I encountered this incredible being. We started to date, and yeah, she had been in like a 7-year fiancé-ship, whatever you call that.
Yeah, almost marriage.
And
wow.
We met, dude, and she's like, I gotta break up with him. And
damn.
Yeah, and she came to visit me, and in Miami, I went to visit her in Canada, and then I moved to Canada.
Yeah.
And so this was one of the most pivotal parts of my life, because she came in, and as soon as I met her, I got back from the retreat, I went sober.
Nice.
So it was like, as I reflect, I'm like, I don't know if I would have been able to make it out of that hole that I was diving into if something didn't come and save my life, truly.
Wow.
And so we met, and we had this incredible next level spiritual awakening together. And
wow.
Yeah, I was able to see certain qualities about her gifts and her sensitivities. And I didn't know this at the time, but I was seeing it with my own gifts.
Yeah.
And so this is the beginning of really stepping into my power. Didn't really step into my power until another year later, but it was the beginning stages. Yeah. And she had this incredible awakening, and I had an awakening, and she fully activated her psychic abilities. And so her guides, her higher dimensional guides, became our mentors. Wow. And I moved to Canada, COVID hit, and her guides became our teachers, bro. This like collective consciousness of high priestesses from the Pleiades. And I would ask questions all day, every day about consciousness.
Incredible.
And she'd just channel it all. So we were having this incredible awakening together.
Wow.
During COVID. And we were like flying through past lives every day. We'd meditate for hours, just crazy stuff, dude.
Oh, I love that.
And we did a 4-month dieta with ayahuasca.
Wow. And
so that was deep into the medicine world. And so 1 year later from that, we broke up. 1 year to the day, pretty much within a couple days. We met in Sedona, broke up in Sedona 1 year later.
Yeah. Wow.
Powerful chapter.
Powerful.
Yeah, so that was really important. And then, I had a little bit of an overdose after that from the pain in my heart. And then I was like, what do I do? Where do I go? And all this stuff. And along this journey, miracles just kept happening. Just kept happening. And actually, when I met her, I started listening to this body of knowledge, this text called I Am the Word. And it was like hearing for the first time everything I'd been needing to hear, and knew that it was coming. But it was like my heart was yearning for these words to put into place everything I'd been feeling as a soul. And it's like I couldn't really live until I received those words. And it like reframed my whole knowing of the world and higher power and divinity. And it just like saved my life. And it came right at the time that she did too. Yeah. It's one of the most important things in my life, because perhaps it's the age of my soul and just this knowing that there was something, and not being in that knowing was literally driving me to death. I would have died. I would have kept going if I hadn't have received that light that I knew was there somewhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is it?
Yeah.
And then it was revealed to me. I was like, yeah. So
Whoa.
we broke up, and then I went on a series of just like moving to different places. And I moved to Florida, kind of licked my wounds for 3 months, stayed with my best friends again. And they were living in this dope apartment, and it was right on the beach. And it was like some of the slowest days of my life, dude.
Wow.
I had hit rock bottom. I just like no money really, like no vision,
Yeah.
so disempowered, heartbroken. I'm like, what do I do? Where do I go? I'm like, rock bottom, dude.
Whoa.
And I just overdosed. So I wasn't in a place to numb anymore.
Yeah.
It was just like
Going
hard
through it.
knocks. Like, this is where you're at.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do about it?
Uh-huh.
And it was such an important time in my life, because I sat there and I was like, what do I do? Where do I go?
Yeah.
And just like really seeing nothing but blackness. And the world was reflecting to me that there's nowhere to go.
Mm.
And so I feel like so many people can resonate with this moment in their own lives.
Yeah.
And so something whispered to me. And it was like, if you could have anything in the world, what would you want?
Mm.
And that just had me listening deeper. And I was like, all right, I'll play your game. Whatever this is that's speaking to me. you
Yeah.
know? And I got out a journal, and I was like, what would I want? It's like, I want a community. And I want soul allies that I resonate with.
Wow.
I want beautiful, beautiful scenery. I wrote down in the journal, I want to wake up every day and to feel the blessings of my life.
Wow.
To feel like, wow, look at that view every day. And
Wow.
I wanted water. And I was envisioning at the time Costa Rica.
Mm.
That's in my mind. That's what I thought.
Mm.
And so I was writing all these qualities about living on the beach and like what it feels like to be in these communities. And it's like almost bringing tears up because I didn't know what I was doing at the time, but I was creating my future.
Manifesting.
And there was maybe a little tiny 1% that believed it was working, dude. Tiny
That's
little.
so funny.
So imagine if 99% believes it's possible.
Oh my God.
And I remember when I got back home there. Oh, this was a crazy story. So this is really fucking cool. I'm going to backstep for a moment. Before, when I was in LA after Sedona, she had gone back to Canada, and I just had my backpack. I was like, where do I go? And I have this dream, right? And in this dream, I'm on Black Beach. It's like nighttime. And all of a sudden, it's like my birthday, and I'm running and I'm hugging my best friend. And it felt so real. And I woke up, I'm like, what the fuck? Why is that in Florida? Didn't even dawn on me to go to Florida. So when I landed there, that vision happened. It was nighttime the night I arrived back, and my friend meets me on the beach, and I was hugging him. I was like, holy shit.
Whoa.
This was the dream. And that night, it was like a full moon or something. And I did this massive ceremony. And I wrote down all these intentions like, God, I'm ready to step into my power. What is my purpose?
Yeah.
How can I serve? I'm ready. Take me. And I fucking screamed these prayers out to the raging waters. There was a storm that night. I was all alone. And the water's raging. I'm like calling upon the might of the world. I'm like, put me in.
Yeah.
How can I serve? And it was a scream, bro, from the depth of my being.
See it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. It was everything I had. And I was like, fucking. And so 3 months, the slowest months of my life, bro. I was like, no. Maybe it was, no, this is November. Is it November, December, January? Yeah, it's like 2.5 months. So the only thing I had planned was this retreat with Sacred Sons, which was like middle to end of January. And so every day I just did Kundalini yoga, went to the beach, grounded twice a day, meditated, and I was just slow, dude. And I had been used to so fast pace.
Wow.
So it was really challenging, and I felt lonely because nobody really like understood
what you were doing,
what I was going through,
wow.
where I was at consciousness wise.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I go to this retreat, and I had processed the breakup pretty rapidly. Like, I understood why I was in the highest. And so I reached out to her. I'm like, yo, I'm going to this retreat. Can you tap into this, like into the future? And she's like, it looks like you're just going to go on a journey. Just sell all your things and just take it back and don't look back. It's like, wow.
Sell all your stuff.
Yeah, I didn't have much, just been there for a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was unstable. I just moved. I'm like, what the fuck? Where am I going?
Yeah.
What the fuck's going to happen? And I was nervous as a motherfucker back then. And she's like, you're going to meet someone that will reveal your next steps.
Whoa.
So naturally, I'm looking for this motherfucker the whole time. I'm like, where is this motherfucker? Who is he? I'm looking, bro. And anytime you're looking for something, you repel that shit. And it took me out of the present moment, bro.
That's so funny.
Big humbling experience.
What a lesson.
What a lesson, bro. So the whole time I was creating these weird moments, trying to force connect. And like, I had a large wound with the masculine. So it was like to be around all these men and I'm going through it, but I have to hide it. It's like,
incredible.
I'm searching for this guy because it's the only thing to give me safety is to know what's going to happen next,
Yeah.
And funny enough, when I got there, I get in this car and there's this, I hope he hears this one day, bless his heart. Yeah, so I get in the car and there's like a group of us. We're going on a shuttle and there's this fucking guy that just appears out of nowhere, right? He's late and he has headphones like this on. His pants are kind of sagging. He looks like a character, bro, out of a movie. He just rolls up and I remember looking in his eyes. I was like, damn, who is that? And he kind of bothered me, bro. He's annoying. He talked a lot. He had like a lot of like intense stories but we kept running into each other.
Wow.
And so this whole time I'm like, who's this person? It's the end of the event, bro. I still hadn't met this guy that I was supposed to connect with to get my next steps. And I'm freaking out. I'm like, where do I go? What do I do?
That's so funny.
And I'm like, I guess I'll just go into the city. And it turns out that guy that I met in the beginning was also going to the city.
Oh my God.
And so I realized that we were being guided to get a hostel together. And through that, connecting with him, he kept saying like, I need to go fly somewhere to get a coach. And it just kept going over my head.
Wow.
Because I wasn't fully in my power yet.
Yeah.
But his presence, I realized, holy shit, I am that coach that he's seeking.
Yeah.
And so I built out the first program that I had to help people activate their psychic abilities, which is what I had done for my ex-partner at the time for fun. And I had done that for many people along the path as well.
Wow.
But I never recognized it as a gift. I just loved doing it. And so he was my first paid client. I took him through a fucking week-long boot camp.
Whoa.
And that was the birth of my first part of my business. And clients just kind of started to appear out of nowhere, bro.
Okay.
Out of nowhere.
Got it. I've had some downloads in this.
Yeah.
About you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm stoked. Continue.
Yeah. So then I went to another Sacred Sons retreat a couple weeks later. It was a vision quest. And it was this 8-day experience, 2 days prep, 4 days solo in the wild, and 2 days integration. It was fucking challenging, dude.
Whoa.
And I still don't know where I'm going. When I was in Florida, one night I was going to sleep and I remember reading an email from Sacred Sons, and I had already planned to go to their first retreat. I'm getting chills talking about it. So I saw this email right before I was about to go to sleep, and it was like Sacred Sons in Maui. And the words Maui just started to like reverberate into my consciousness, bro. I didn't know what Maui was.
Wow, you had no idea.
Had no idea. And as I'm laying there, I'm like, Maui. And this has happened a lot in my life. Maui. What is that? I was like, what if it's not Costa Rica? What if it's Maui? And I was like, I'm going to Maui.
Oh my
I got
God.
full body chills, dude. This was months before. And I'm like, Maui. How am I going to get there? What is that? Where is that? What is Hawaii? What is it? What? I was like, all right, whatever. So I forgot about it. And I would go to this vision quest. And after the vision quest, I'm living fucking day to day, moment to moment. I'm terrified terrified. It's not like it wasn't fun like you see on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. I was fucking terrified.
Wow.
Had no idea what was coming next. I was mad at the universe because it felt like I had no plan.
Yeah.
But shit just kept happening. And so I go back to San Diego. That's where the first retreat was. And then I went to Arizona for the second one. And then I went back to San Diego because a friend was driving there. And I just stayed in a hostel, met back up with my client at the time. And I'm like, what do I do? And I'm asking everyone else what I should do.
Wow.
Everyone. I'm like, yo, what should I do next? Where should I go? Yeah, you should go to New York. Oh, no, you should go to Chicago. Or I'm like, yeah, maybe you're right. What do I need? And I was like, I want to work on business. I want somewhere I can feel grounded to work on business.
Yeah.
But I didn't really know what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I kept asking everyone else. And I saw this Maui retreat come up. And I don't remember if I think I had just enough for the retreat or something.
But
I asked people and they're like, no, you're just chasing a spiritual high. I'm
Whoa.
like, yeah, maybe you're right. So I literally saw it came into my field and I denied it because of someone else's opinion.
Nice. Wow.
And so I'm in this hostel feeling just sick, dude, sick to my emotional stomach.
Yeah.
What do I do? Where do I go? I'm running out of money. I don't know what to do. And I have this dream, bro. And I wake up from this dream. In the dream, there was this one of the leaders in Sacred Sons. He's a Maui-born Hawaiian guy.
Yeah.
Powerful fucking being. And he's one of my teachers as well. And he's just like, he was running in the forest. And he turns back and stares at me like a wild animal, bro. And I wake up in a panic. I'm like, I gotta go to Maui now.
Whoa.
I was like, whoa. And then all of a sudden the illusion that I was allowing in my field fucking dissolved, bro.
I just got chills.
Yeah, dude.
Whoa.
I woke up and I'm like, I'm going to Maui. And I was like, how did I not realize?
Damn.
I woke up out of a distortion, bro.
Praise the Lord.
It was a blessing. And so I go online, dude, and it was in 4 days, bro. The retreat was in 4 days. There was 2 tickets left.
Damn.
And I had to get a fucking plane ticket, bro. And so I call him up, one of the founders. I'm like, bro, is there space? He's like, not only that, bro, but we'll give you a discount because you went to 2 other events lately. Wow. So I fucking crash landed in Maui, bro. And
did you have any money?
I was very low on money. I think I might have had like $1,000.
Wow.
$1,000.
So you full sent.
Full cent.
You couldn't
dude.
have returned.
There was
like,
no going back. There was one way forward.
Burn the boats.
Burn the boats, dude. I had like $1,000. Not even, I think.
Wow.
It was very low.
How old are you at this point?
This is only fucking 2 years ago, bro.
Okay, so we're now at 26.
Let's
you're 20. No, you're 20. Now
I'm
we're at
28
24
right now.
Oh, you're 28. Okay, so 20.
This was in 2020. It's 2019. Broke up in 2020.
Sacred Sons Maui.
Oh, this is 2021.
Okay, cool. So like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. 2024.
Whatever the math is.
2024 right now.
2023.
2023. So like
it's 2 years.
2 and 2.5. Okay, cool. Got it.
2.5 years.
Okay, cool.
Like yeah. And this was one of the biggest shifts in my entire life, bro.
Yeah.
And I almost missed it. It was like the fucking, my spirit or whatever creation I create. There's so many moments where I just almost miss it. And if I would have missed it, I don't know where I would be. It's last second things, bro. And what's beautiful at the end of the vision quest, which fucking required a lot of my being, it was hard. We did this sacred gift exchange. And I put this necklace I had received in Peru that was super sacred to me. And someone else had put a ring, an eagle ring down there. And I see that ring. I'm like, oh, I hope no one else takes that, bro. I was like feeling it. No one else got it. So I got the ring, dude. And I put the ring on. I was like, whoa. Wow. And now I didn't know I was going to Maui yet. But it was like I was spreading my eagle wings as I landed in Maui.
Wow.
Super symbolic. And metaphorically, the journey I've been on is like the scorpionic journey of the scorpion into the eagle, into the phoenix. And a year later on Maui, I had the Phoenix Rising Festival. And it was like this culmination. And then I left Maui. So it was like the rising into my fullest expression.
Yeah.
And then I went on a wild journey again. So I'd stayed on Maui for 2 years,
Yeah.
which is profound time, a lot of initiations, but really good times.
Yeah.
Rainbows and beauty, everything I had prayed for that in that dark night came true and more.
Yeah.
Some of the greatest times of my life, some of the best friends I've ever made so far. Rainbows every day. It was really paradise.
Not like here.
Wow. This has rainbows in different forms.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, a lot of moments of Satori. But the biggest, I say, is really this ability to let go and to trust and have faith in the universe. My faith is getting to a point where it is absolutely unwavering. Absolutely unwavering. I've just had so many miracles happen, blessings happen every step I take on this earth. And that it's like I'm being initiated into the remembrance of our divine nature.
Yeah.
And I feel that my purpose is in one to first go and prove that there, not only is it possible, but that I think we were designed to live in this way of moment to moment reality creation, to allow the miracles to unfold.
I fully agree.
In the unknown. And to weave it back to what I feel you're stepping into right now is into that.
Yeah.
Into that journey of
Moment to
moment, miracles unfolding right before your eyes.
Yeah.
Because the last year, almost like 10 months for me has been that.
Wow.
Some of the most, man, I thought my life couldn't get any better since Maui, dude. It's been exponential. I've had more breakthroughs and fucking whatever you call those high points in life.
Yeah.
I've had more than 20 of them in the last year.
Yeah. Wow.
It's just nonstop, dude, exponential into infinity.
Yeah. I feel like it's every day at this point.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time I see you, it's like 24 hours goes by.
Yeah. And that's that, bro.
Wow, man. I love the depths that you went into, and some of the stories you shared were like super profound. And we skipped a couple of years, but we can maybe do that another day.
Yeah.
Like how you got to Vanau as a whole thing.
That's a whole
itself,
thing, dude.
And
yeah.
what it's like here. But wow, dude, like your story is so poetic, and I feel like what you went through in childhood / what you signed up for pre-incarnation is incredible. And the transmutation of all of that is a relinquishment of karma and or a positive gaining of karma that is like, for sure bringing you to the cusp of enlightenment. This is certain that enlightenment is certain
for
sure.
You. For sure.
Certain, like being fully self-realized is certain. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Especially like the straitjacket at 8. You know what I mean? If you can make it out of a straitjacket at 8, along with just like the traumatic household that you were in for the period of time that you were in it. Wow. Like plus it seems like you've gone through, sometimes me and Claudia talk about like these moments of existentialism where it's like, what is this? Like, what, am I even a being? Like, I feel like I'm so lost. I have no place anywhere. I don't know what to do. And it feels like you've gone through so many of those moments that for me, I just don't see how enlightenment isn't certain for you. So, wow, aho. And amen to beings that transmute as much of these you've transmuted, because if Joshua can do it, man, wow. You know what I mean?
Thank you, bro.
Like, wow. Yeah. And it's very clear that you have an angelic like nature. Otherwise, there's no way you would be here. The odds of someone making it through what you just described to here, if we're looking at this in a rational way, extraordinarily low, right? So angelic in your nature for sure, without a doubt. And I feel it in you. Like from the moment I've met you, I've been like, who is this? It's a sense of brotherhood, like immediately. And it felt so good. And I had no idea that you'd gone through any of that. And I would have never been able to guess that you had gone through any of that, because for me, the moment I felt you was just like, wow, you're like pure love, you know? And it was a shock for me to hear you for the first time talk about like, yeah, I had a super traumatic childhood. I was like, okay. I was like, tell me about it, you know? And you started sharing, and I was like, wow, damn, like that is actually a traumatic childhood. Like that is, as you defined it, hell. And so it was a huge, like incredible moment of just like, whoa, wow, that is a lifetime, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's a lifetime. And to make it through, to be like, yeah, send me into that. I mean, to sign up for that kind of service, you know, you have to be fit for service.
Fucking hell, dude. It's like, I reflect on it a lot, you know, from the poetic nature of all of our souls' journeys, because I feel that they're all poetic and they're all in their essence when we move through them and we qualify the initiations.
Yeah. And
I also have come to this knowledge of like, you know, as warriors of light, what does that fucking mean? Right? Like we say it, some people say it without really understanding it, I think, or like, or really like considering the depth of what that entails and the responsibility to humanity. And what I see is that in order to reestablish a higher geometry of reality down here in this matrix of Earth, it has to be reconfigured from within.
Yeah.
And there's so many distortions in place of pain and suffering that people, their souls get looped and stuck in.
Yes.
So in order to dismantle those grids, those distortions, someone has to fucking move through it and live, because then your soul is able to send the information up. And then to reconfigure the grid from having the gateway in by having moved through it and surviving. Yes. So by me going through this, or you going through your things, and people going through their challenges, you're already reconfiguring the grid,
raising the ocean.
Reality. Exactly. Through the body.
Yes. That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I love what you said, and I thought of Gandhi and, you know, a few other sages, but it's just, I love to see beings as like magnetic fields, and it ripples through the universe, and it is most potent on Earth because we're a human being born of this Earth, you could say. And so, yeah, like when someone like Gandhi steps up and is like, no, we're going to be our own country. We don't want the British colony here. And we're just going to do like nothing but gather in masses, and I'll lead this thing.
Yeah.
And reaches this state of enlightenment in the journey of like, you know, protecting the country and reclaiming sovereignty. It's because of one being that went within it, and that's the power of it. One being says, no, don't fight. Just gather in masses and just stay still.
Yeah.
And that is like the power of divinity, right? We don't need to shoot weapons, and we don't need to do anything. We can literally just gather together in peace, and that dispels all the darkness by virtue of your beingness. And so, yeah, it is incredible, because some beings are just extraordinary in what they signed up for and what they're able to radiate out. And I loved your analogy of like bringing it, you know, sending them information, bring it back, and the whole sea rises.
Yeah.
I fully feel that and see that all the time when I'm like talking to somebody, or someone says something like transcendental, and I'm just like, wow, big codes. Like I feel that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah. And I've been reflecting on this concept a lot, talking to Ron, you know, Papa G, I call him.
Papa G.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Hopefully he'll be on this.
Yes. Hello, beautiful beings. I am so sorry that the audio for the remaining 3 minutes of this episode is not the best quality. We had an issue with the audio, but nonetheless, you will still be able to hear us, so enjoy it. And I recommend you finish it, because there's a beautiful heart share at the end, and it's a wonderful ending. Okay? I love you. I love you.
Okay. Back? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I've been reflecting, and you know, you're gonna have to watch the one with Guerrero, Papa G. run
Yeah.
to have the full story, but been hearing about his childhood. I mean, teenagehood going through.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, how many different levels and forms of war are there?
Right.
It's like, wow. It's interesting to see the challenges that certain beings take on.
Yeah.
And are able to make it through and just like radiate so much more love because of it. It's profound in its essence. And so like, there's just a lot of similarities to drop in with him around it. Yeah.
You know what I was feeling into when you were sharing that? Kind of related, but very different. In the Gita, the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about how the state of consciousness that one is in when they die is where they will re-enter in the birth cycle if they aren't fully realized. And that's a profound thing because I always feel into that. I'm like, whoa. Now, this isn't to say that like someone who is fully realized then never comes back into the birth cycle. Like there's Buddha and there's Christ and there's all these different beings who are, let's say, already fully realized and angelic and come here as that. But I don't know what my last lifetime was, but if I was to feel into it, I'd feel like it was pretty damn good based on this one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, and then other people have different journeys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I loved this context that the Gita gave into like the birth cycle. This is pretty wonderful.
Wow. Must have been a hell of a wonder. All right, bro. Should we close this one?
Yeah, man, let's close it. Quick prayer to thee, O Lord. We give thanks for this wonderful transmission and all of Joshua's shares. May they be of the highest and best interest and service to all of mankind. For those who can relate and can gain clarity in their own path through this wonderful share, may it be that you also achieve this transformational state of feeling like you are now an angel and that you've transcended all of your previous lower vibrational states. So, really inspiring share. I'm really stoked. And I feel very called to do an extended share that's at much greater depths from my own personal share after this one. So I'm feeling into that.
Yeah. I love you, brother. Amen, bro. Always a pleasure. I love y'all.
I love you. Bye. Pals production. Yay!